Hi, welcome to ExamPadi. Today, we're going to be learning about food chains. Have you ever wondered how animals and plants are connected to each other? This is made possible through food chains. A food chain is a way to show the flow of energy from one living thing to another in an ecosystem. Let's take a look at a simple food chain: grass, rabbit, fox. The grass is the producer, meaning it makes its food through photosynthesis. The rabbit is the primary consumer, which means it eats the producer, and the fox is the secondary consumer, which eats the primary consumer. Imagine if all the grass one day disappeared. What do you think will happen? The rabbit won't have anything to eat, and the fox won't have anything to eat either. That's why food chains are interconnected to each other. In a more complex food chain, there are many levels of producers and consumers. Let's take a look at an example. Sun, grass, grasshopper, mouse, and cat. The sun provides energy to the grass, which is the producer. The grasshopper is the primary consumer that eats the grass, and the mouse is the secondary consumer that eats the grasshopper. Lastly, the cat is the tertiary consumer that eats the mouse. Food chains are not always straightforward. Some animals can eat different types of food, and some animals can be both a predator and a prey. For an example, an owl can be a predator to a mouse, but it cannot be a prey to a bigger predator like a coyote. That's why we call this a food web, which is a combination of food chains in an ecosystem. It's important to understand the food chain because it helps us see how everything in an ecosystem is connected to each other. If one thing disappears, it can affect the entire ecosystem. Let's look at some fun facts about the food chain. Animals that are hunters are called predators, and those that hunt are called prey. Predators are at the top of a food chain are called top predators. Lions, crocodiles, sharks, whales, and birds of prey are often top predators in the food webs. Although top predators are usually hunters, they still sometimes need plants to sustain the food that they eat. In any ecosystem, animals and plants depend on each other. If one part of the food web is disrupted, it can cause a big problem for other living things on the web. As living things depend on each other, scientists say that they are also interdependent. Many predators try to catch the largest prey they can so they don't have to hunt too often and waste energy. For example, a fox would prefer to hunt with rabbits than a shrew because you have to catch a lot of shrews to make up for the energy composition that you use for one rabbit. The largest mammal in the world is the blue whale. They can grow to over 30 meters long, much longer than the length of a typical swimming pool. That's crazy, right? Plastic presents a major problem in food chains. As plastic does not rot and decompose easily, if a small animal in a food chain consumes plastics, the animals higher up in the food chain will eat more and more plastic, causing small pieces of plastic to harm much larger animals. The energy in a food chain or food web can be traced back to the sun. This is because the first member of any food chain is a green plant. Green plants use the sun's energy to make their own food in their leaves through photosynthesis. Let's take a moment to think about how we as humans fit into the food chain. We eat so many different types of food, but we have a responsibility to take care of the environment and to make sure that all animals and plants in the food chain have what they need to be able to survive. Remember that everything in an ecosystem is connected, and we all have a role to play in taking care of our environment. Thank you for learning about food chains with me. Subscribe to ExamPadi for more informative videos. Goodbye.